Trump signed an executive order today that burning the American flag will come with a mandatory 1-year prison sentence. Now, this is a direct violation of the First Amendment. This was already ruled by the Supreme Court in Texas versus Johnson in 1989 that burning the American flag is symbolic speech that is protected under the First Amendment. But the intention of this order, because it's going to get blocked, is to go to the Supreme Court that's in Trump's pocket and attack the First Amendment, our freedom of religion, our freedom of speech, and our freedom to peacefully protest, to peacefully assemble. Think about how they already talk about protests. They call it violent. They call it riots. Peaceful protests. It was what they used to justify sending the National Guard and Marines into LA to use against citizens that were protesting over the course of 2 blocks downtown, and it was not a violent protest. The goal of this is to be able to prevent people with military force, if necessary, from assembling. It's to prevent free speech, because that's how we fight them. One of the biggest benefits we have now that we didn't have in 1930s Germany is social media, because we can get news out quickly, and the goal is to squelch that. And the last thing is that you have to understand that Christian nationalists do not believe in religious pluralism. They do not believe in your right to practice your faith as you please. To them, religious freedom means their right to practice their religion and their right to enforce it on you. That's why they want to force people to pray Christian prayers in public schools. They want to force only their religion in schools. They want to be able to legislate laws based on their interpretation of the Bible, because not even other Christians agree with their interpretation of the Bible. This is a theocratic society that they want to establish. They have no intention of maintaining civil liberties. And the Heritage Foundation over the decades has been very clear about wanting to remove amendments so that we can go back to the First Republic, or when the Constitution stood on its own. And there's been wavering between keeping the Bill of Rights or going all the way back to when the Bill of Rights itself didn't exist. This is one of the greatest threats on our rights, our most important rights, which is why James Madison wrote it into the First Amendment, because this is the way that we overthrow tyranny. This is the way that we resist. If they start to outlaw our freedom of speech, then people like me who dissent will get arrested. It allows for them to justify using the military in cities where the governor has not asked you to come, because the National Guard is not supposed to be mobilized without the governor's consent, which is why you should be calling your governor saying, no, I do not want the National Guard coming in here, and I do not want us sending our guard somewhere else. This is enormous, and they know that this is going to get stopped by a judge, but the goal of this is to send this to the Supreme Court that will rule in Trump's favor, because they are in his pocket and completely immoral and have zero integrity. To the point that even though a court has ordered Kilmar Abrego Garcia to be protected from deportation, they're trying to send him to Uganda. A lower court has stopped it again, and both Justice Neil Gorsuch and Justice Kavanaugh came out and told that lower court to get out of the way of Trump's wishes, which is a violation of both their role and the way the justice system is supposed to work. We will lose the First Amendment if this goes to the higher court.